Hey, good morning, guys. It's Jamie. I'm just heading in, just doing a quick share this Friday morning. I have a full day at the office. I was listening to this video, and I think I want to start posting some links. I don't really put much in my description. I just put like a brief couple sentences of what I'm talking about, and some guys, men and women that go on this channel on YouTube, which I really love. I love the information I get. I can figure out so many things just from the YouTube Academy. The YouTube Academy is not an official place. I'm just saying I call it that because if I want to know how to hang sheetrock, how to build a fireplace in my backyard, a fire pit, if I want to learn how to paint, home do-it-yourself, do-it-yourself, DIY. That's it, DIY projects. I have gone to YouTube a lot for information. I've learned a lot about all type of topics, whether it's cooking or stocks. Right? None of these things make you an expert. I'm not saying that you can watch a YouTube video and you become an authority on the topic. But what I am saying is it's just information. If you go to school, whether it's a public or private, or whether you go to a college, whether it's a community college or a prestigious Harvard or Yale or Stanford, whatever that might be, they're providing you an education. So you can get an education. Mr. Miyagi was an educator. He taught Danielson how to do karate. He became the Karate Kid. Whether you're older or younger, most people know that story. Wax on, wax off. So it's through information that you're willing to absorb and apply and implement. So all I wanted to share this morning was I was listening to a guy of the people that I will listen to every day. I listen to somebody on my way in or at nighttime or whenever I have some free time, some downtime. I'm trying to invest in myself, right? Because usually I'm promoting, stocks, options, cryptocurrencies, real estate, right? And self-betterment is what I've been adding lately, because if it's my kids or my friends, I send links to people that I think will receive it. And I'm like, hey, check this out. And a few of them I hope they'll check it out. Right, some of the stuff I watch is a little bit longer versus like I do enjoy the 10-minute, 15-minute stuff. It's a little easier to digest than something that's an hour long or 2 hours long, right? It's kind of harder to block out the time, to do that. But I was listening to Patrick Bet-David, right? Bet-David. And, he's an influencer. He's a business entrepreneur, businessman. He's got some good information. I really enjoy his style. I think he's a good leader, and I just shared his link to this video about recession, and I'm going to put it down below because I believe right now that if we're not in a recession, we're heading there. And I'm not an economist. I'm not an expert. I don't know anything for certain, so I'm not telling you that this is what's happening. I'm just saying, as an average American, a person that is a worker in the business kind of world, in the auto industry world sector, I guess, I believe I can see it. I see it in the customer that comes through our doors, at all of our dealerships. I see it in the banks, the lenders. I see their rates climbing up higher and higher each month. I see it in the customers. Also with their, the cash that they're able to put down. In these past 12 months, it's been unreal. Like people putting the amount of money that they've been putting down on cars, and the amount of money they've been getting for trade-ins, and what they've been willing to pay, for a pre-owned car or over sticker on a new car, whatever it is, whether it's a Porsche or a Jeep or a Nissan or a Honda, a Toyota, whatever it is. There people are paying minimum sticker, but in a lot of cases 10 to 20%, depending on the availability. So I can see these signals in my day-to-day business, and then in the stocks, and those type of things. I mean, I'm like, wow, these things. If I wasn't selling covered calls, which is why, not to get into that right now, I wanted to get into Amazon and Google and stay with Tesla and companies that that will pay a premium each week or each month, or at least you're getting some money that you're kind of kicking back in. Because look, I bought Amazon at the split, and I think my average cost was around 123. I think when I checked this morning it was at 114, and I'm down, but I believe in the company, so I'm okay with that. I don't think that Amazon's going bankrupt, but it's certainly not a good feeling when you look down and you see red. And so I'm just like, okay, the premiums aren't going to be as healthy because the stock is on a decline. So if there is a recession coming, whether Patrick says it's coming in the next 6 months or sooner, or no later than 2 years, and here's what you can do to prepare for that. I love that. I love saying that, because that's what I'd want to know. Like, if there's the pandemic came, nobody prepared us for that. The doomsday preppers, from those that show where we go, oh, look at those guys, they're crazy. Like a gas mask and dry food stores. They got basement, but when the world was in chaos, they were probably like, oh yeah, woo! They were prepared. They were the winners. I mean, not that anybody wants these things, but it's nice when you're prepared, right? Like that. What's that story of the grasshopper and the ant? I think something like that, where the ant is preparing for the winter, and the grasshopper is out there just living it up, and he's not preparing. And then when the winter comes, he's, if the ant hadn't received him, he would have died because he wasn't ready. So there's a good story in that little kid story, but I think that is what's coming as I've gotten older and I've been through a few things. But just ignorant, not really even understanding these things that are happening. Like in 2008, I was working, I was a used car manager / salesman / finance. Like, I had different roles, but I wasn't as far along in my career at that time, and I didn't have really much money at all. I was at a different place in life at that age. I want to say I was around, in 2008. I want to say I was around 30 or early 30s, just in that age range. But it didn't matter if you're in your teens or 20s or 40s or 50, whatever age you were at during that housing market crash that lasted for quite not a long time, but it lasted for. Patrick was talking about. I think it lasted for 18 months or so, like where the effect on the stock market and the decline, and then afterwards, right after that big crash, I remember one guy I worked with who was getting close to retirement, panicking and selling because for all the years he had saved up, he was watching his retirement dwindle. He was losing tens of thousands of dollars, and he panicked. And unfortunately, I think his name was Mark, had pulled out. And because he wanted to save, he's like, I got to save what I have, or I'm not going to have anything left. And then, of course, it recovered after some time, and then it kind of went way up. So I'm not making fun of Mark by any means, but I remembered that. Like, I really remembered that, and I thought, God willing, I lived that long, and whatever monies we think we're like, hey, I'm good, man. I got millions of dollars, or I've got hundreds of millions, or I'm a billionaire, whatever. And Patrick is talking about billion-dollar companies that are no longer here because of what happened that last time. So, certainly, I'm nowhere near that. But I think about with the diversity I have, I'm trying to be careful, and I want to share that with my kids as they kind of, the oldest ones are 20 and 16. And the only one that's really even considering this kind of stuff is my oldest, who's 20, who's in the Army. And then the other little ones, they don't, they have no idea. But I'm trying to kind of spoon feed the little ones little hints of like, why does daddy do this, and why is this important? And with the older ones, I have to be careful because I don't want him to be like, oh, here we go, dad's telling me what I should be doing or what I shouldn't be doing. I'm just trying to share stuff because I don't want you to make the same mistakes, right? And history repeats itself, so we can learn from that. So the link I'm going to share is I'm not here for likes and subscribes. I'm not here for smash the like button and algorithm. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm just trying to share information to help you consider these things and warn you, right? Like if someone is a Christian and they say you got to receive Jesus, which I believe actually. I'm just saying they're passionate about that because they don't want you to lose your soul, right? Your soul to be lost. and I don't want your finances to be lost, or I want you to be successful, because if we collectively are doing well, right, it can help create a better environment, for everybody else. Like, I want my kids to not be in poverty, or when my daughters see somebody on the side of the road with those signs, some of those people aren't really genuine, right? But some of them are really struggling, and they're not trying to take advantage of people's kindness. And what I mean by that is, I see some people, they're smoking Marlboro cigarettes, which are $12 a pack, I believe, and they're drinking Starbucks coffee, right? And they have a cell phone. I mean, if they're that impoverished, they certainly wouldn't have a Verizon $1,000 cell phone, iPhone in most cases. They want to help those people. They're like, Daddy, give him or her some money. Can we help them? And I think their heart's in the right place. But you also got to prepare them not to be taken advantage of, and try to guide them in the right direction. So anyway, I'm kind of getting off the topic here. So I just want to encourage today that, like, we have to pay attention to what we're probably in or about to go through. And I think being prepared, like, what can we do, right? How do we arm ourselves to weather the storm, right? Not panic, because panicking doesn't help. Getting emotional isn't going to help you succeed. And how do we benefit from it? Like, what can we do to like, not take advantage, but take advantage of the opportunities that come up. And I think that people like Patrick Bet David are going to offer you some direction, right? And wherever you get it, through peers or people that can give you some positive direction and good information that you can kind of think about yourself and say, how can I apply this 20-year-old person? And I have some of those around me, and then, or a 30-year-old person, men or women. What can I do to, over this next 2 to 5 years, that when I come out of this, I'm only going to be 25, I'm only going to be 40, I'm only going to, whatever that age is, am I going to be better coming out on the other side? Am I going to be able to take advantage of the real estate opportunities that everybody's going crazy? Like, whenever a property comes up right now, I got to tell you, like, I haven't been able to get anything. Everything that comes up, it's like there's just somebody waiting on the sidelines going, "The property, woo, let's go!" And they're like, the numbers are like crazy, and I can't even get in for a price that makes sense for me, because of these maniacs that are going to pay, all the money for the distressed properties, and what I sometimes feel like is way overpaying. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm like, hey, maybe in the long run it's going to work out for them, because I don't know. I'm poking fun there, but I pass on a lot of properties because, and I love it. I think that's the best investment to take or to get into, but it's really tough to get into that. So I'm wondering what's going to happen over the next year, if some of that is going to pull back and there is going to be some opportunities there. So I want to be ready. That's what I'm kind of doing, is I keep saying, okay, pass. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with not making that deal, because the right deal is going to come that makes sense for me and my family, and in the long run it's going to work out. And it was the same thing with the very first property I ever got, and I didn't have much to offer as far as money. I had a little bit of credit, and I couldn't buy much, but that investment made sense for me, for my need and what I needed it to do. I was able to afford it, and it worked out really well for me in the long run. So those are the type of investments I want to get into. I think you got to take a little risk, but not too much, where it's going to jeopardize you or your family or your money. And these are the things that will help you to succeed as you go forward. So regardless of what you're doing in the stock market, right? Regardless of where your money is going, I still think, having money is really just good for the opportunities that come up. And the last thing I'll give Patrick a plug was, he was talking about these Wayne Gretzky cards. And my grandfather was a huge baseball card collector. And he said, there was a guy that was selling these 2 Wayne Gretzky cards, and he paid, I think, a little over $500,000 for the 2 of them. And then less than 2 years, a year and a half later, he sold them both for over $2 million. So he'd come up at $1.5 million, and you're like, wow, because he saw the opportunity. Now, I'm not a sports guy. I couldn't tell you the player stats and who played for what team and which coach. Some people know that stuff. They're very passionate about it. But the analogy and the illustration of what opportunity came up, sometimes in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's just a skill set that you have, whether it's an investment opportunity that you see in front of you, a career opportunity, a business opportunity. There was a car that came available for me that was a huge opportunity because the person had a need. They didn't care. They said, I need it right now, right now. Do you have it? Yes or no? And it was like, sometimes these opportunities, you got to have the ability to execute. And if you don't, man, it's gone. So, and I think the rep those cards up, I think he said, if I would have held them a little bit longer, just one card sold for $3 million. So anyway, it's like, that's it. The greater fool. Like, there's always going to be someone else, like the Bitcoin guys that say, I bought Bitcoin at $1 and look at me now. And then it went up to 1,000. I bought it at 1,000 and it went up to 10,000. Yeah, I bought it at 10,000, then it went up to 60,000. Right now it's whatever it is, 29,000. But I think that if you have some skills, right, and you have the work ethic, and that's the last thing I want to mention, I said I want to go over 20 minutes, is if you're good at something, right, if there's something you really excel at, you're really good at, there's going to be an opportunity for you. And if somebody is a phony and like an empty suit, right, and it doesn't have to be a man. I mean, somebody that's like, doing great, and I'm not a hater, but I'm like, what did they do? Right? What did they bring that, and like, would I hire them? Would I want to partner with them? Like, were they just inheriting the money? Were they inheriting, did they get lucky and hit a scratch ticket? And, but they don't really have any product or service that they offer. Then they're going to get found out. And I really like that, because I think when anybody whenever an opportunity comes up, if he or she is not the person for the job, you're going to find out in a very short amount of time. It doesn't matter how great they look, how well they speak, right? When it comes time for action, you're going to see pretty quickly if he or she is able to lead the charge, if they're able to, maintain and not fall apart and get you to the next level. And I've seen that many, many times. And any skill set that I've acquired was over many failures, right? But I just dusted myself off, keep going, learning, getting better, right? And 1.0, 2.0, Jamie, right? And just keep going from there. So that's my encouragement for today. As far as the Amazon stuff, I'm not going to sell my shares, of course, because I want to keep selling premiums, even if it goes down lower, if it goes to $100 a share, which it's possible that it could do that, especially with the stuff that's going on. But I think Amazon's a great company in the long run. I use it every week, and I see there's a building next to me going up. What used to be a Kmart. They're tearing it down, turning it into something called my mother-in-law told me it's called Fresh Start or something. Something Amazon Fresh, and it has to do with you being able to go in there and actually buy products right there, which was interesting. I never seen that. She said that they have that in Canada. So I know I'm butchering the name. I know it has something to do with fresh, something to do with fresh. I thought it was food. Okay, but anyway, be careful, right? Learn as much as you can, and then actually act on it. That's really important. You have to not just get this stuff and go, wow, it sounds pretty good, and then you never do anything, right? You never take any type of action. Because you're going to look back and go, wow, I had it right in front of me and I never acted. Don't be afraid, to get involved, because sometimes, even just a little bit, like right now I'm on this fast, which I'm not doing perfect. I'm not going to be completely without food. I've been eating a salad here and there, but I mean, I'm doing better than I was when I started on the first. And as a result, I lost a few pounds. I feel a little more energy, and it's better than, maybe I didn't do it exactly the way I wanted to do it, which was no food at all, just water and coffee and tea, black and stuff like that. I haven't been completely doing that, but I'm doing, maybe 70 to 80% of what I wanted. And that's better than 0%. And if I can get into that 100%, I will, right? So just because you can't do it all, doesn't mean you shouldn't take some action, because you're still going to get some positive results, okay? All right, guys, that's my 20 minutes. I hope you have a great Friday, and I'll talk to you over the weekend. Have a good one.